YouTube channel. In this lecture, we are going to solve the next VOR questions from Keith Williams chapter, question number 111 to 120. So let's begin. Question 111. Aircraft is flying on a heading of 010. Variation at VOR is 10° west and at aircraft is 12° west. Which VOR RMI corresponds to indications on the CDI shown? Now here the variations given are irrelevant because the heading is already magnetic and all RMI indications are magnetic. So the variation given here is only for your confusion. So now let's look at the CDI indication and then judge what RMI is the most suitable one. So over here. So you can see that this is your CDI indicator. The course that you have selected is 060. So the course selected is 060 and the 2 from indication shows 2. Okay, that means you are flying towards the VOR station and the track towards the station is 060. If the track towards the station is 060, the track from the station will be reciprocal 240. Okay, next thing. So your aircraft should be on a heading as given in the question, on a heading of 010°. So this is your VOR station. This is radial 060. This is radial 240. The track is heading is 010 and the track towards the station is 060. Away from the station is 240. Now with this settings, your RMI should show a heading of 010. Okay, heading of 010. The course selected is 060. So 060 240. So the pointer should be pointing at 060 and the tail should be at 240. The to and from indicator should show 2 indication. So the triangle will be ahead of aircraft. The triangle will be ahead of aircraft. Okay, and the CDI indication will remain in the center. The CDI indication will remain in the center because the aircraft is on the center of this radial 240 inbound. If the aircraft is on the center line of the radial, the CDI will also remain in the center. But as given in the question, the CDI is not on the center. It is 10 degrees to the right hand side. That means CDI is telling pilot to fly 10° right. 10° right. If CDI is telling pilot to fly 10° right, that means pilot has deviated from his track towards the station by 10° left. Now going inbound, this becomes your left hand side, this becomes your right hand side. Now the CDI indication is telling the pilot to fly 2 dots right hand side, which is 10° to the right hand side. Okay, so if CDI is telling you to fly right, that means you have deviated to the left hand side. So left hand side, that means you are somewhere on that side. So let's say you are here. You are somewhere here. Left hand side. And now the radial passing through you, through your position will be a radial which is more than 240 because that radial is to the right hand side of 240. So it will be more than 240. It can be 245, 250, anything. But as given in the question, the CDI deflection has happened 2 dots to the right hand side. Now over here 1 dot equals to 5°. So 2 dots will be equal to 10°. So the deflection has happened by 10° and therefore you will be on radial 250 now. 250, and that's why from this position you are getting a fly right indication because you have to fly right, intercept this radial 240 and then fly inbound. Then fly inbound VOR and overfly VOR and transition onto radial 060. Okay, so the RMI, finally your RMI should be like this. It should display a heading of 010. Okay, the course selected is 060. The course selected is 060 and correction. So now you are currently you are on radial 250. So QDR is 250. Therefore QDM, that is track towards the station, will be reciprocal of 250, which will be 27. Reciprocal of 250 will be 070. 070. So the RMI will be pointing at 070. The RMI needle, the tip of the needle will be pointing towards 070. The tail will be at 250 and the 2 from indication will be 2. Airplane will remain in the center. So this will be your RMI indication. So let's check which is the correct option. So in all the options you will see a heading of 010. You will see the heading of 010, 010, 010, 010. Next we noted that QDM should be 070. So in this the QDM is 050, the tip of the needle. In this the QDM is 230, tip of the needle. Over here 250, and in this case the QDM is 070. Okay, so according to me the correct option will be option delta of figure number delta, which is option A, figure delta. Option A, figure delta, because it is correctly pointing towards a QDM of 070, a QDM of 070 and QDR or radial of 250. Okay, and a heading of correction and a heading 010. The one correction I have to make here is to erase this to and from indicator. Okay, in RMI you won't have to and from indication. You will only get a heading information, the track towards the station, VOR or NDB station. Okay, let's go to the next question. Question 112. Aircraft is flying on the 245 radial with a heading of 250. On the HSI, the course is set 060. Which HSI shows the correct indication? So let's draw the diagram. So aircraft is flying on the radial 245. Heading of aircraft is 250. Next, on the HSI, the course you have set is 060. Now reciprocal of 245 is 065 and the course selected is 060. The reciprocal is 240. 240. Okay, now to go on to course 060, which you have selected, you will first have to change your radial from 245 to a new radial of 240 and then track that radial 240 inbound, overfly VOR and transition on radial 060. That's how you will achieve it, right? So let's look at the figures over here. Okay, so the correct method will be to select course 060 in your OBS selector. Okay, course is 060. Which HSI shows the correct indication in the diagram? Okay, so 060 should be selected in the OBS selector. We'll draw it here. You will automatically get a 2 indication. Now, currently you are on radial 245. If you follow radial 245 inbound, you go to radial 065. You don't want to go to 065, you want to go to 060. To make that happen, you will have to make a turn, left or right. Now going inbound, this is your left, this is your right. So the CDI indication will tell you to turn right hand side so as to change your radial from 250 to 240 and then follow this radial 240 inbound. Follow 240 inbound. So the needle will go towards right hand side. Okay, it will go towards right hand side. So the correct diagram here will be, first check all the selections are 060, that's fine. The to and from indicator should show you two indication. So two indication and two indication. Eliminate options Bravo and Charlie. And then the CDI needle should go to the right hand side. So only figure A has a CDI needle deflected to the right. In delta it is deflected to the left. So correct option is figure A or option number A. Okay, this is how you do it. We have done a question similar to this many times from RK Bali, Oxford and Keith William as well. Okay, so watch all the lectures so that you understand what we are doing now. Question 113. Aircraft is flying on a heading of 010. Variation at VOR is 10 west. At aircraft is 12 west. Which VOR RMI corresponds to the CDI indication? Now if heading is 010 magnetic, the RMI should also show a heading of 010 magnetic. So look here. In all the figures, the heading is 010, 010, 010, 010. So no fault there. Now look at the CDI indication. The course you have selected is 060 with a from indication. So that means you intend to track away from the VOR station. This is your VOR station. This is radial 060 and you are going to fly outbound. Okay, going to fly outbound. With outbound track 060 should be on the OBS. From indication should be there, and the CDI indicator needle should remain in the center if aircraft is on the center of the radial. But in this case, they have told you that the CDI has deflected to the left hand side. One dot left means 5 degrees to the left hand side. Now, if CDI needle has deflected 5 degree left, that means it is telling the pilot to go left hand side. Now, the CDI will tell pilot to go left or fly left if the pilot has deviated from his track to the right hand side. Okay, so if you have deviated right, the solution to that will be to go left, to go back to your track, which is on the left hand side, right? Now, going outbound, this is your left hand side, this is your right hand side. Okay, the CDI is telling you to fly left. That means aircraft has deviated to the right hand side. Aircraft is somewhere here, and therefore the CDI indication is to fly left and then follow the track 060 outbound. Now aircraft is to the right hand side. That means the radial passing through its position will be somewhat more than radial 060 because it is to the right hand side. Okay, whenever you turn right, angles increase. So it can be 061, 062, 070, but it's given here the deflection has happened one dot. Now one dot is 5 degree. That means aircraft has deflected by 5 degrees and therefore this radial will be radial 06, radial 065, radial 065. So that means aircraft is currently situated on radial 065 with a magnetic heading of 010. So radial That means QDR is 065. QDR is indicated by the tail of the needle, so 065. Next, QDM, nothing but the course or track towards the station, is indicated by the head or tip of the needle, and that will be reciprocal of QDR, which will be 245. Magnetic heading is 010. So now we will find an RMI indicator which has all these three values. The tail at 065, the head at 245, and heading of 010. So look here, all the headings are matching. Now the head of the needle should be pointing 245 at 245. So over here it is pointing at 245. Over here it is pointing at 045. So Bravo is wrong. Delta, it is pointing at, over here it is pointing at 065. Over here it is pointing at 055. So again this is wrong. And in option Charlie it is pointing at 235. We want it to be pointing at 245. So correct option will be option A. Figure number A, which is nothing but option Bravo. Option A, figure A. Okay. Option A, figure A. Now let's go to question number 114. 114. Okay. Aircraft is flying on a heading of 010. Which VOR RMI corresponds to the indications on the CDI in the diagram? So this is some printing error to check. Okay. So question 14 we will do it from here itself. Aircraft is flying on radial 050 with a heading of 250 degrees. Okay. On HSI, the course is set to 060. Which HSI in the diagram shows the correct indication? So this is your VOR station. You are on radial 050. The reciprocal is 230. Heading of aircraft is 250. So that means heading of aircraft is heading of aircraft is 250. Now the course that is selected by the pilot is 060. 060, the reciprocal of which is 240. The reciprocal of which is 240. Okay. So let's check the HSI figure here. Now the magnetic heading should be pointing at 250. So in all the diagrams, the magnetic heading is 250, 250. That's fine. The course is 060. That means the tip of the needle. Okay, it should be pointing at 060. So 060, 060, 060 and 060. So all four figures has the same indication. Okay. Next thing, the to from indication. Now look at this. You are on this side of the VOR on radial 050, which is meant to take you outbound. And now you have selected a course or radial of 060. If you follow that radial 060, you are going to fly outbound itself. If you want to fly inbound towards the VOR, you have to select any of these two radials, which will take you towards the VOR and then away from the VOR on this side. But pilot has selected 060. That means the indication it should get is from indication. And the figure which has a from indication here is, to get a from indication, the small triangle should be behind aircraft. In case of to indication, it should be ahead of aircraft. For a from indication, it should be behind aircraft. So look at this figure. The from indication, the triangle is behind aircraft. Okay, because course is 060. okay, and the triangle, the to from indication should be behind it. So it should be here. In this case, it is also here. In these two cases, it is at two indication. This black triangle you see, it is next to two indication. So Charlie and Delta is the wrong option. We want from indication, and to get a from indication, the triangle should be behind. The course is 060, so the triangle should be behind it or opposite of it. In order to get a two indication, the triangle should be should be aligned with the course indication. For a from indication, it should be on the opposite side. So these two figures are the correct ones. Next, now our current heading is 250. So all HSI indications take into consideration the heading of aircraft. The CDI indicator or OBS selector doesn't do that, but HSI does. So from the current aircraft heading 060, you want to go to 060, you will have to turn left hand side. You will have to turn left hand side in order to intercept 060 and fly outbound on radial 060. Okay, so there is no, in case of HSI, there are no normal sensing or reverse sensing. Okay, there is no normal sensing of the needle, reverse sensing of the needle. Whichever direction the needle moves, you follow that direction and turn your aircraft. So in this case, it will be appropriate to turn your aircraft left hand side, okay, by 10 degrees, because you are on radial 050 and 060 is differs by 10 degree. Okay, from 050 it differs by 10 degree. So it is telling you to fly left where the radial 060 is situated, and therefore the correct option is option Bravo. The needle has deflected two dots left, means 10 degree left. Okay, so this is how you do this sum. Let's go to question number 115. Aircraft is on a magnetic heading of 210, which VOR RBI corresponds to the indications on the HSI shown. So aircraft is flying on a heading of 210, and we have to select VOR RBI corresponding to the indications on the HSI in the figure shown. So let's look at the HSI first, interpret the data given in the HSI. So the data given here is that we are flying on a heading of 210. So if we are flying on a heading of 210 as shown in the HSI, all your RMI indicators will also show 210. So 210, 210, 210, 210. So with respect to that point, we are correct. The information is correct in all the RMIs. Next, the course selected here is 200, 200. As you can see by this tip of the needle black pointer, and the to and from indicator shows 2. So you can see this second triangle, black triangle, it is pointing towards the course, so it is 2. If this triangle were here, it would be from indication. Okay. So now, so the track towards the station that we want is 200. That means we will be situated on a radial of 020. If the track towards the station is 200, so track away from the station, that is radial we are situated on, will be 020. In this scenario, in this condition, the tip of the RMI needle, VOR needle, should point towards 200 and the tail should be pointing at 020. So in all these figures, you can see the tip of the needle. So the tip of the needle should be pointing at 200, indicating the track towards the station, QDM towards the station. But it will not point 200 accurately, because aeroplane has deviated from its track to the left side or right side. Now over here the CDI indication is telling you to fly right 5 degree, 1 dot right of 5 degree to the right hand side. The CDI is telling you to fly right, that means airplane has deviated to the left hand side. So let's draw the diagram. So this is your VOR. You are on 020 and this is 200. Okay, and the heading is 210. Heading of your aircraft is 210. Heading of your aircraft is 210, right? So in this case, your RMI should be showing an indication of 210 heading. The tip of the needle should be pointing towards the VOR, which is 200. So 200, and the tail should be pointing at the radial, which is 020. But now we are not on radial 020 exactly or accurately. We are deviated to the left hand side of it. Now going inbound, this becomes your left hand side and this becomes your right hand side. So if we have deviated to the left hand side, that means aircraft is somewhere here, and at this position the radial passing through the position will be more than radial 020, will be more than radial 020. So this is 020, this is 200, and here the radial will be more than it, 025, and your aircraft is currently situated here, and therefore it is getting a fly right indication of 5 degrees. Fly right indication of 5 degrees. Fly right indication of 5 degree, one dot is 5 degree. So that means aircraft is actually situated on radial 025, and therefore the track to the station will be reciprocal of that, which will be 205. 205. So the RMI should be pointing such as this. It should show a heading of 210. It should show a track towards the station of 205. So the tip of the needle should be pointing at 205 and the tail of the needle should be pointing at 025. 025. So let's find that diagram. Over here in figure A, the tip of the needle is pointing at 195. Over here, the tip of the needle is pointing at 205. So the correct option is option Bravo. The correct option is option number Bravo. Okay. So this is how you do the sum. Let's go to question 116. Aircraft is flying on a heading of 010. And which VOR RMI corresponds to the HSI in the figure? This is your 16th figure, 116.